A few days ago, a brand new Superman movie graced the big screen, and some of us have had a chance to watch it, I being some of us. And I put out a review afterwards, as I often do, saying it's a fun family film, it's got vivid colors, it's got tons of action, it's got a lot of the spirit you expect from a superhero movie. It's a Superman comic book movie brought to life. What's not to love? It turns out for me quite a bit. And even though I did enjoy this new Superman movie, and I think it sets a good tone for what's to come down the road, I was also very disappointed with the final product, which confused some people. They came up to me, tears in their eyes, saying, "Sir," as I'm often addressed, "Sir, how can you be disappointed in a movie and say it's good at the same time?" The reason is actually quite easy to comprehend if you think about it. I went into a restaurant, I thought I was gonna get a 5-star meal. Instead, I got handed McDonald's. And while McDonald's can certainly be a tasty meal, there's not really a lot of surprises in every bite. You kind of know what you're getting. There's no nuance to the palate. Which is why I think this new Superman is going to work for a large swath of moviegoers who are looking to just have fun, get some laughs, get some colorful settings, get a little bit of crypto flying around. But for someone like me, with such a refined palate when it comes to films, expecting nothing but the greatest, I couldn't help but be let down. Still fun, just a letdown. If you're still with me right now, I haven't even gotten past the intro, but let's move into this. This is gonna be the spoiler video. It's a recap. So if you haven't seen the new Superman, do yourself a favor, subscribe to my show, Adam Does Movies, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can also find these clips on TikTok and Instagram. Go watch Superman, make up your own mind, then come back and listen to me spoil the crap out of it. Or you can just jump in right now, even if you haven't seen it, but you saw the trailer and you kind of have an idea what you're gonna get. Spoiler right out of the gates, Superman does not die in this movie. I know the stakes were pretty high. Everything was kind of leaning towards him getting killed off in the first film, but no, he does manage to make it through, sarcasm aside. Let's go through this movie, kind of beat by beat, to the best of my knowledge. The thing about the recap videos, or as I lovingly refer to them as recraps if I'm going through a really awful film, not in this instance, I do my best to extract the knowledge of this film, toss it into the pensive, and give you an overview of what you can come to expect. Maybe it's a pensive. Pensive, that Harry Potter thing, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, the movie fires up with exposition dumped in the form of text. So right out of the gates, this movie's not starting on the best foot for me. We have a 3 centuries ago, I think, and then it's 3 decades ago, 3 years ago, 3 months ago. James Gunn keeps putting up the text, and every one of them breaks down a critical moment for Earth. Starting with 3 centuries ago when metahumans were introduced. Then at some point, Superman is introduced. We then jump to 3 years ago. He established himself as kind of this savior of Metropolis. And that's an important one. This Superman has been around for 3 years. Everyone knows who he is. They love him. And Gunn even points out that the guy has not lost a fight. But then states, until now. And this is where we get our first shot of the film, which is all over the promotional material. Superman smashing down into the snow. He is absolutely bodied. He's spitting up blood, and he is at his lowest. He has just lost a fight to a mysterious foe known as Ultraman. He's mysterious because he's in a full suit of armor, and apparently he's one tough cookie to take out Kal-El. Quick aside, this is a movie channel. It's called Adam Does Movies, not Adam Does Comic Books. So if I'm getting some of the names of characters wrong, or I'm just foggy on who all these people are supposed to be, typically I'll just describe them or give them a little pet nickname, and we'll just move on with our days. I'm not incredibly knowledgeable with comics. That's not the branding here. Continuing on. After making a few snow angels, Superman says, you know what, enough is enough. It's time to call in the big guns. So he whistles, which attracts the ear of Krypto the dog, a super dog. He's very fast, he can fly, super strength, all the accoutrements. He comes sprinting over, jumps on Superman for a while, just beating the crap out of him before our Supes finally gets a hold of the thing and says, dude, just take me home. Take me out of here to the Fortress of Solitude. It's all in the trailers, but that's how we're starting this out. We get to the Fortress of Solitude where we meet the Superman bots, one of them voiced by Alan Tudyk. These are great little like humorous things. Everything's a humorous thing in this movie, by the way. Nothing's taken very seriously at all. They throw some shade at Krypto the dog, who I really enjoyed in this. Krypto is a unruly pet. He's definitely not house trained. He's constantly wrecking stuff. He doesn't listen to commands very well, except for that whistle. That one gets his attention. The bots strap Superman into a chair and they turn up the magnification on the sun, which powers our guy up. Bones are snapping back into place. It's incredibly painful. And this is all very interesting for me to watch because we really never see this side of Superman. Very vulnerable, very weak. It was fascinating until it stopped being fascinating after about 2 hours of him being very vulnerable, very weak, getting his ass constantly handed to him. This movie takes inspiration from a lot of places. It might all be in the comics, but I was getting shades of The Boys at certain points. I was definitely getting shades of Invincible, which, to be fair, Invincible probably is taking most of its inspiration from comic books like Superman. One of the things, though, that really stood out was just how much Invincible gets his ass handed to him in every season of the show, to a point where I was getting sick of watching it, because it's not the most fun to watch your hero get taken out over and over and over again. We get it. He's not invulnerable. We get it. He can be beaten in a fight. At some point, he needs to get up and Rocky the shit out of this, right? Keep in mind, I want you to know this movie is going a million miles an hour. It almost never slows down. So I will have things out of order as I'm remembering them. I might skip over entire sections completely just because there is so much happening. Okay, he gets back into the fray. He thanks them. They say he's at 80% of his strength. I don't know where they're getting the statistics, but he flies back to Metropolis into the battle where he's gonna once again get his ass handed to him by Ultraman. This time we see, though, that he's taking commands from Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult plays Lex Luthor. I still haven't decided on whether or not I'm into this character or not. He's different. He's really into killing Superman, and we don't really know why, which is, again, a huge problem with this movie and something I should probably backpedal on. The reason I had such an issue with the title stuff at the beginning, going over everything that we didn't see, is because we did not see it. James Gunn is presenting us with a brand new take on Superman. It's way more lively, way more colorful, way more jam-packed with characters. And this is the first time we're meeting them. So it's a little unfair. Even though most moviegoers are gonna have an idea of who Superman is and Lex Luthor, this is still brand new, so it should be presented as much, which means you can't cheat. You can't put in the skip chapter 1 code and go right into the meat of it. I don't know this Lex Luthor. I have no idea what makes him tick. I've gathered that Superman is loved by most people, fair enough. But I don't know what Superman's actually capable of in this film. We were told he hasn't lost a fight. We were not shown that. It would have been really nice to have a montage or some small sequence to showcase just what this Man of Steel can do, because that makes him bleeding and losing battles all the more impactful and important. Like, holy shit, we've seen this dude do a lot of impressive things, and now suddenly he's bleeding and he's getting beaten to a pulp because this guy Lex Luthor hates his guts for some reason. That works. It works a lot better than just saying, awesome guy is awesome, but now he's getting hurt. The narrative is even more puzzling because all of this wraps around a central conflict between two rival countries. I don't remember the name of them. I'm pretty sure they're made up. We are told, not shown, that Superman intervened and he stopped a war from breaking out. He destroyed a bunch of tanks and helicopters. That would have been really cool to see. And it would have been an awesome grand entrance for this new Superman. Okay, that long aside out of the way. We are back with Ultraman. He's ripping into buildings. We see Lex Luthor shouting out commands to a bunch of techies on the computers. A1, F2. He's playing a hardcore game of Battleship right now. And boy, how is he winning? He knows every single move Superman's gonna make. Luthor already knows this Superman better than Superman knows himself. Countering every punch, countering every kick, smashing him through buildings, tossing him to the pavement. Superman in this movie is on the ground more than he's in the air. After I put up my movie review pointing out all the pros and cons, there was some pushback saying, Adam, it's nice to see a guy that is not invincible, that can actually be hurt. It shows some stakes to the film, and no, it doesn't. Not really. Are you worried at any point that Superman's not gonna survive? He's Superman. It's the first movie. It's fine to have stakes, but I don't really think it needs to come at the expense of this character. He's supposed to be ridiculously powerful. Showcase that. Let me see that. I want to feel like a kid again watching this guy take to the sky and just pummeling people. The stakes, the risk come from those around him. Put them in harm's way. Make him make tough choices like they did in The Dark Knight. Batman had to choose between the person he loves and the person that can make a major difference to the city. In X-Men 2, X-Men United, one of my favorite scenes in the film is when Wolverine has to protect all the children at the mansion because guys have broken in. They're starting to shoot at these kids. It is so well done because even though the Wolverine is very much invulnerable, these kids around him are not, and so he is viciously on the attack. And again, that's not to say Superman can't get his butt kicked once in a while. That is refreshing to see, and it is nice to show a little bit of vulnerability. But my God, most of the movie is showcasing him just getting wrecked. And if we juxtapose that with what's going on with the rest of the superheroes, it comes off even more pathetic. Like, why is Lex Luthor so concerned about this alien? Oh, it's because he's not from Earth, whereas the Hawk Girl is, and Green Lantern is? I thought he was an alien too. Maybe not. Maybe he just got a power ring and he's a human. It's, again, I don't know the comics. But again, general audience members aren't going to know that either. So they see a bunch of meta-humans and they all just seem like alien. Or they seem at least to the same skill set as Superman, if not more impressive. Mr. Terrific later showcases just how terrific he is, and it's one of the best scenes in the film. He's one of the best characters in the film, too. But this Ultraman fight takes place. Superman smashes to the pavement for the, upteenth time, and there's a vendor there. I think it's a hot dog vendor or something. He helps Superman get back up. They have a nice little exchange of words. This is another positive for the film. I love how all the people are kind of interacting with this guy. They love him, they respect him, and he's just so kind and appreciative. He values life, which is a major trait, of course, of the character, so much so that he even saves a squirrel at one point from a giant kaiju, which we'll get to. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't even remember how this scene ends. I think Lex eventually just goes, mission accomplished. Let's bring our Ultra dude back to the tents that we have him hidden out at, and we'll go for more later. He's just trying to set the tone because he wants to showcase his amazing weapon. Because behind the scenes, he's very much invested in this war between these two nations. He's actually working alongside one of the dictators, sending him arms for very little amounts of money, because the overall goal for Lex Luthor in this movie is to take over this territory once the war is over. And there's going to be a clear winner, and that's the side he's backing. This land will become his, and he can be a ruler. And I guess in his mind, the only thing standing in his way is Superman, even though, again, Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern dude, Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl to a lesser extent, they're not in his way, even though later they're the ones that actually destroy his army. We'll get there. For now, the smoke clears. Superman heads over to Lois's apartment where we find out they're actually a thing. They've been going out for a while. Lois Lane in this movie, she's awesome. I thought this actress was perfect. Lovely on the eyes. She's got the personality. She has that presence about her that screams, I know my shit. I'm a great reporter. And I'm also going to challenge my boyfriend. And she does. They have a little mock interview. This is a great scene in the film. This one-on-one camaraderie they have, this connection they have. It's one of the longer moments that this movie has. The only moment where this movie breathes even a little bit. And it's all, again, focused on this war, which is puzzling because we didn't see it. Superman here is defending his reason for stopping this battle from occurring. He saved a lot of lives. Her problem is he just went in, cock out, and destroyed everything that was gonna be a danger. Did not go through the proper channels. He didn't talk to the governments of any of these nations. He didn't pick favorites. He didn't pick sides. It was just stop innocent folks from dying. Lois knows how to play the game though, and that's not gonna fly. And so they have a little spat and date night is unfortunately ruined. Around this time, a subplot starts to get introduced between Lex Luthor's girlfriend, Eve, who's this ditzy influencer. She's constantly taking selfies with destruction behind her. But even though Eve is loyal to her man, she also has her eyes set on someone else, and that's Jimmy Olsen. Friends of Lois Lane, they both work together at the Daily Planet. Over the course of the movie, he's gonna get information from her via text messaging while making kissy faces at her, meeting her privately in a back alleyway, and even promising to go in on an extended weekend date. Jimmy's got Riz. That's the bottom line. I'm gonna take this way out of order just to finish this subplot up, but essentially this is gonna crack everything wide open, as every single selfie she was taking throughout this movie has important information in the background, really solid blackmail for her to use against Lex. Eventually, he disrespects her so much though that she just says, fuck it, I'm sending it over to my boy, Jimmy, and he can run with the story at the newspaper. Now, the big shocking, controversial thing that happens in this movie is what James Gunn does to Superman's biological parents. Superman comes from the planet Krypton. His parents, the whole planet was wiped out. They sent him to Earth with a message as a baby, but unfortunately the message was damaged. It can only partially be played. Probably a good thing too, because Kal-El is only seeing the good stuff in there, such as, hey, we're sending you to Earth, they could use your help. It's a nice, simple group of people. You can really make a difference here, son. You're the best, they're gonna love you. You're really gonna win over the hearts and minds of those around you. What he did not see until later, when the message is repaired by one of the villains, is, also, you will rule over all of them. You're gonna kill off the ones that don't agree with you. A lot of bad seeds that you could cleanse on this planet. And you can take a whole bunch of ladies as your brides. Really sow your oats and build up a new population of super babies. Very good thing that message was damaged. I could see a teenage Kal-El really being into this idea. Thankfully, he was raised by a couple salt-of-the-earth blue-collar folks, the Kents. They're a simple people who really enjoys a good burrito. It's probably as much culture as this family has had. But their hearts are in the right place. Unfortunately for me, they were very slapsticky, much like everybody else in this film. Very dopey. They have a nice touching moment later on with Pa Kent. I know at this point my heart is as black as coal. It just really did not do anything for me. I got what James Gunn was trying to do, pulling at the heartstrings. Having Pa Kent be there as a shoulder to cry on for Clark Kent, the name they have given him since being on Earth. But because we just did not get much time with them, and because there were so many jokes at their expense, I couldn't get anything. And that's the problem with the whole movie, is there's just not a lot of emotion to be unearthed from it, which is crazy to think about from James Gunn, who managed to make me feel really sad for a CGI rocket raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy. He made me feel concerned for a CGI shark in the Suicide Squad. He's really good at letting these small moments breathe and play out. But again, because there's so much in this movie, it's so jam-packed with shit. It's like if TikTok had a movie, this would be a great representation. And I know, I'm all over the place too here. That's just how these are. These recaps are all over the place. I didn't sit down and write a script, okay? I'm not running a multi-billion-dollar company like James Gunn is, so that's my excuse. I talked about this movie on a live stream a few nights back with some friends, and the big summary I had, the big takeaway is, this is an Illumination Superman film. The family pretty much enjoys it universally. It's kind of stupidly simple. There's a lot of zany characters, most of them played for laughs. And at the end of it, you're satisfied. But just like every Illumination movie, you also don't get much there. It's just fine to watch. I was personally hoping for something more like an Iron Giant or an old Pixar film that really has some depth to it and pulls at the emotions. Or even something as modern as The Wild Robot. Colorful, emotional, impactful films that do contain a lot of zany characters, that do contain comedy, but they are rooted at the core with some great messages and some powerful moments. This didn't give me that. And a great example of the clusterfuck this is right before Superman goes to see his parents, his name is driven into the ground. Because Lex Luthor, who absolutely hates Superman for some reason we're never told, spends every waking minute of his life thinking about how to kill him. And he finally came up with the master plan, which is to break in to the Fortress of Solitude. He has his crazy experimental people on his side, some chick that can morph her body into different weapons after going through some insane procedure, putting nanobites all over her, and then that secret mystery helmeted character who's kicked Superman's ass a couple times over. They get into the Fortress of Solitude, they body Krypto by throwing some of that nano shit over his head, and then they just leave him there, only for him to show up in the next scene, I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm all over the place, but this movie is too. I'm pretty sure they take out Krypto, who's covered in this black shit, and then immediately in the next scene, he helps Superman fight a kaiju. Could be wrong, But I think that's what happened, and it was odd. But again, there's not a lot of like stakes or thought into this movie. Things just happen all the time. Sexy nanobot chick is able to get inside of the computer system of the Fortress of Solitude, and she's finally able to repair the message, and they get to play back the awful instructions Kal-El's real parents have for him. And they broadcast that shit all over the world. And Lex knows what he's doing. He made sure there was a distraction in place for Superman so he wouldn't come knocking at the front door. He had some of his goons send out a giant kaiju to terrorize downtown, giving Lex the perfect opportunity to bust in. The battle with the kaiju showcases some of Superman's strength. He's able to lift the foot up, he saves a bunch of people, it's very awesome to look at, but he cannot figure out a way to save all these people and keep the creature alive. And that's when we get introduced to the new Suicide Squad, the new Guardians of the Galaxy, the Justice Gang. That's the joke that the Green Lantern's gonna use over and over again in this film. And that, to me, is the perfect example of why this movie will work for mainstream basic moviegoers. And for me, I'll roll my eyes a little bit and go, yeah, I watch a lot of movies. I've seen this shtick a million times over. It was just used in the Thunderbolts. They did the same thing. Thunderbolts, that name's not gonna stick. And that keeps going. It's the equivalent of the joke you've seen a million times over where a person goes, no way I'm getting on that plane. There is no chance in hell you're gonna get me on that plane. And then we smash cut to that person sitting miserably on the plane. It's a funny joke, it works, but again, there's no real depth to it. It's just a simple formulaic thing. And this brings me to a point I also brought up in that live stream. This is a James Gunn movie for sure, but it feels like a James Gunn movie done in the most safe, corporate way possible. Because he's not only a director anymore, he's the head of the DCU. He can't just think about this one movie and walk away. He needs this movie to unquestionably succeed. He has a lot riding on this. He's got a Supergirl movie. There's a Batman movie coming out at some point. I mean, there's cartoons. There's so much riding on this starting out on the right foot, which means appealing to the largest audience humanly possible. And so that means illuminationing the shit out of Superman. And for the millionth time, perfectly fine. I love me a good Illumination movie. Those Despicable Me movies, at least the first 2.5, are really good. I enjoy them. They're fun. Minions are fun characters. I even like the Grinch Illumination. So I'm not knocking them. I just had higher expectations. I had higher hopes for Superman, and it did not hit those. That's all. That's it. The Justice Gang shows up. They do their thing. They try to fight the kaiju on their terms. Superman's kind of like telling him not to hurt the thing. They don't give a shit what Superman has to say. They clearly don't really respect him, which is unfortunate, but maybe he'll get that respect in a later film. And unfortunately, this kaiju's gonna die hard when Mr. Terrific flies some of his little drone devices down into this thing's stomach and blows the shit out of him from the inside. It's after the scene ends that Lex broadcasts to the whole world that video by Superman's parents about how he should cleanse the earth and take a bunch of brides and just a bunch of stuff that's not great to hear. The town turns on his ass so freaking fast. I was like, what? That's all it took? After years and years of this guy helping you all and doing only good, you're like, fuck you, Superman. And I get it. People are very easy to manipulate, for sure. No question. But that was just, it was a little bit much, a little bit fast. And much like the breakneck speed of everything in this movie, it has no time to breathe. So he gets the can thrown at his head, and then he has a bit of an identity crisis. He flies back to Mom and Pa. That's where he has that heart-to-heart sequence. The dad gives like 3 lines of inspiration, and Superman goes, well, that's all I needed. I'm back, baby. Again, it's so quick. This could have been a whole story arc in a film. My God, there's so much happening. There is so much that happens in this movie. Holy shit. I didn't even get into the fact that Lex Luthor has developed black hole technology, and so he's able to bounce through a dimensional plane onto the other side wherever this black hole comes out, which happens to be a little tent headquarters where he's secretly working on these experiments. And inside of this little pocket dimension or pocket universe, whatever they are, There are all these little cubicles and places where people are stored that are a threat to Lex, such as a blogger, an influencer who he didn't like. He locked her up there. There's also a bunch of monkeys that are rage tweeting out and sending out, thousands and thousands of evil messages about Superman and how much he sucks because Lex hates his ass. Again, we don't really know why he hates him so much, but that's where we're at. Even though it's very dumbed down and knocked over your head with the commentary there, I got a chuckle out of it, much like everything else. And it's at this place where Superman eventually will be captured. Because after the events of the kaiju scene, Superman flies back and he turns himself over, which at one point Lois is like, bitch, are you serious? I like that she calls him out and goes, yeah, there's no win here. You're just gonna get locked away forever. But he's such an honorable dude. He's such a Boy Scout that he goes, we gotta let the chips fall. And they do not fall in his favor. He gets put in this pocket dimension in one of these cube areas, and you would think he could punch his way out. But no, there's a dude there that's able to produce elements. And Lex Luthor, because he hates Superman so much for some reason, was able to find out his weakness, which is kryptonite. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember its name. I think it's Metamorpho or some shit. I don't know. He's just this rocky looking dude that creates stuff. He creates kryptonite, Superman on the ground as usual, as he often is, just dying there. And across from him is a cute little green baby, which apparently is the baby of this guy who's killing Superman. Supes tries to plead with him. He's like, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. And he's concerned. He thinks that the baby's gonna die, and that's fair. Lex shows up there with that dude that ran by Superman earlier in the film, the vendor, and he shoots him in the freaking head, killing him on the spot. This could have been a really impactful, emotional scene. Had I known that dude for more than 4 seconds of the movie. Again, we gotta move fast through this shit. Superman's like, no! Oh! And Lex goes, sorry, Supes, bye! It's at this point that Mephisto, or whatever his name is, decides in his infinite wisdom that Superman actually is a good dude, and Lex clearly is not. So, he stops using the kryptonite and instead produces the equivalent of a sun, which heals Superman enough to blow through the cube, save the baby, and we get this kind of a shit show of an action scene where he falls down into digital liquid. I don't know what this stuff is. They say what it is. I'm sure I can't remember. And there's this fight with the soldiers of Lex. It just goes nuts. While this is happening, Lois also on her way there with Mr. Terrific. She convinced him to go with her. There's a fun little scene where he has to open the garage door to get to his plane, and it's like, it goes really slow again. A basic joke we've seen a million times. James Gunn's really good though at making these jokes land, and they do. I laughed at pretty much everything he was throwing at me. I was having a good time. They fly over to the tents with all the bad guys, and this is where Mr. Terrific really gets to shine. He throws a force field over Lois, and he's kicking the shit out of everyone. He's got drones flying around. He's just casually kind of like grooving to the stylings of whatever song James Gunn used. I love Gunn's playlist in all of his movies. Weakest one in this one by far. Even the song he chose here, not my favorite. It worked. It was still an awesome sequence. It's the best sequence in the movie for me. But the music overall just not really hyping me up in this. The score, we did not get an iconic Superman theme song. And I think that really would have gone a long way to at least build up some of those emotions that were missing for me. After the best scene in the film, though, he makes his way to the Black Portal. He starts hacking into it. And eventually they catch up with Superman and he's saved by Krypto and his ice breath that blows him away. He's getting saved all the fucking time in this movie. Almost every fight, he's saved by Krypto. 3 of them for sure. This is going to take us to the final section of the film where Superman's finally gonna kick some ass for a tiny bit. Lex Luthor releases the goons. He also releases Ultraman. There's a lot of people for him to fight. And the biggest problem with this is there's also a war going on. Those 2 nations are about to attack again. One of them armed to the teeth with Lex Luthor weaponry. The other one basically pitchforks and rakes. One guy had a fucking cedar brick. Good luck with that. You saw this in the trailer. The little boy pulling up the Superman flag. Superman, Superman. And this is it, I thought. It's time to bring it home, James Gunn. Have our hero take out these assholes, fly over and save the day. That little boy can look up in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane. It's Green Lantern? What? That's right, Superman knows he can't make it over there, so he calls in the Justice Gang or whatever. Keep in mind, the Justice Gang is basically like a corporate superhero league. They work for Metropolis or the country. I'm not sure exactly. We don't have time to figure it out. And that's the shot in the trailer where Guy Gardner is like smashing cars. He's flipping people off. A lot of middle fingers. I thought there was going to be one tops, but there's like 4. He basically just repeats the same 2 attacks for like 6 people in a row. At this point, the animators are like, oh my God, we have like a week to finish all of this. Just recycle the same 2 shots for this thing. As a side, I do like all the Justice Gang. I know Hawkgirl got a lot of shit in this because she just doesn't have much to do. And she's kind of an emo Aubrey Plaza type, just very laissez-faire about any of it. Can't be bothered to put down the newspaper and save the day. I liked the attitude. I actually liked the actress. She did a good job for what she had, except for the yelling. She yells in this with the dumbest facial expressions, and I could not stand it. It was painful on my ears. And she's gonna be the one that ends up taking out the dictator, dropping him to his death, because she says to him, hey, I'm not Superman. I don't have some silly little code of conduct. Girl, bye. So Guy Gardner and friends save the day. Meanwhile, Superman, who does kick a little ass with his laser eyes, he's spinning around, he does some cool shit. He's gonna get bodied again by Ultraman. And this is the big reveal. The reason Lex Luthor could get into the Fortress of Solitude, which is protected by the DNA of Superman, is because Lex Luthor had his DNA. We didn't see when he collected it. That was done off camera like a lot of other things in this movie. It doesn't matter, we're moving fast, it's TikTok. But he got it and he cloned Superman, which is why we have Ultraman, who rips off his mask only to reveal the dark, emo, bizarro Superman. That's right, baby. We got Bizarro in this one. All I could think during this, and hear me out, please. Lex says that this is actually a stronger version of Superman. He's not perfect. He's not a one-to-one copy. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this would have been so fucking cool if it was Henry Cavill as the evil Superman. It would have bridged the gap. It would have brought everyone together for this movie to see Henry Cavill once more as Superman. He's already been evil in the, those other iterations. To have those 2 on screen together would have been such a mind-blowing reveal for the fans. Alas, it's just Corrin Sweat again playing both characters, but this fight is all right when you could see it. It's in the dark a lot during this. Some of the camera zooming around and doing all this wild shit can be a lot. And again, it's kind of just like a video game here. They're punching each other back and forth. Not a lot of emotional weight to any of it. Krypto saves the day once more. And eventually he is thrown into a black hole because while this fight is going on, oh my God, there's so much going on in this fucking movie. Lex Luthor lets the black hole get out of control and it starts ripping into Metropolis. While this is going on, Lois Lane and the other reporters have jumped in Mr. Terrific's plane and she pilots it over the city. What are they doing? Just escaping, just going on a little joyride because they had to... What? I mean, they just left the place late. It's not like they got the files out quickly. It's not like they stayed behind, sacrificed themselves to get the story out to people. They did that wirelessly from the plane. So the evacuation and all that stuff felt a little unnecessary. But there's a shot towards the end of this movie where Superman saves a woman in a car from a building falling on her. She gets the hell out of there. Thanks, Superman tips the hat. And he comes out of the smoke and debris in a silhouette. It was such an awesome shot. I just thought, fuck, if we could have got a little bit more of this Superman. Just a little bit more. I don't need the whole stoic thing throughout. I get it's not that type of a character, but every past Superman had that presence to him. Some of them more effortlessly than others, but in this movie, we just do not see a more serious side of that character, the respected, powerful side. This one, he's really more of just a dude in a Superman outfit that gets lucky and can lift buildings and shit. At the end of the movie, when the real hero of this film, Mr. Terrific, steps in and repairs the land from ripping, Superman smashes into the hover plane thing Lex Luthor's now in to escape Metropolis, and he's gonna beat the shit out of him, but he of course can't do it. He's gonna let the authorities take him away. But first, Krypto shows up and kicks the crap out of him. Again, the dog and Mr. Terrific are basically the main characters in this film. They do everything. Lex Luthor starts to pout and cry, and I guess we'll see him in the future, hopefully a changed man. I can't imagine that'll be the case. And it looks like Eve is gonna get that date with Jimmy after all. I hope it turns out. At the end of the movie, Superman is back in the Fortress of Solitude. He's laying down in his little bed, getting worked on. And while he's there, instead of that video that he always watches of his parents, his alien folks, it's replaced with his folks on Earth. He sees all the highlights growing up with them, how he was raised, and the importance of that family dynamic as opposed to the false promises from the past. It's a nice little ending, but then it's not over because record scratch. Kal-El's cousin shows up, Supergirl, drunk off her ass. She's here to get her dog, Krypto. He jumps on her, he's like smashing her into the concrete. She's laughing and having a good time, and we'll see her in a future movie. I liked this actress. I think she's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm interested in seeing a Supergirl movie or a movie where there's a superhero that seems a lot more unwieldy. And hopefully the movie's very much just focused on her and her dog and not like 7 other characters. Finally, there are 2 end credit scenes. Do not waste a second of your time waiting for them. They're both awful. They're trolls. The first one is basically just a dynamic wallpaper. It's Superman and Krypto looking from the moon down on Earth. That's it. It's in the promos. And then the final end credits, after waiting for 4 or 5 or 10 minutes, it's just a bad joke between him and Mr. Terrific, how as the city got repaired, it wasn't quite lined up because Mr. Terrific's little orbs that he used to help line things up was not one-to-one. Overall, while I'm pretty sour on this thing because it just did not impress me on anything deeper than, oh, colorful action, that's fun, that's funny, that's funny, fine. Cool. A lot of people are liking it, and I'm happy for them. It just it did not hit me the way it must have hit other people, apparently. And there you have it, Superman 2025. It was very hard for me to get through this, covering everything, because holy crap, so much happens when you say it out loud. So much happened when you watched it. Let me know your thoughts on the movie, if I swayed you to go out and watch it, if I maybe swayed you to rent it at home. I don't want to deter you from seeing it. You'll probably have a great time. A lot of people are. For me, it was messy, colorful nonsense, not bad, just not anything special. And that's too bad for a brand new superhero movie, a brand new James Gunn Superman movie in the DCU. Let me know though, please, again, think of subbing to Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and hopefully I see you in future videos. Take care.